I think once a year, it's good to put together a guys trip that where you guys can just throw all responsibilities in the back burner just for a couple of days, and just become teenagers and guys again.
Hello and welcome back to the Fat Dad Fishing Show. I'm your regular host, Rich Natoli, and tonight we're going to talk about what it's like to go to a new place, never fished there before. It's that time of year. People are on vacation. I know most of you are probably on vacation right now. I am not. I had a full day of work today, my friends, and it was a very productive day, and hoping that this runs into a very productive podcast tonight. We have Khoa coming back on, and we're going to talk about his recent trip up to Cuddyhunk, and it's a place I've never been. We had George Bucci on last year to talk about it. He was on the trip, and they were out checking for Khoa, some new areas. I wouldn't say new species, but new areas, new tactics, new approach, and we're all going to run into that. So whether you're going down to Virginia, you're going up to Cuddyhunk, you're heading out to the West Coast, hopefully we can talk about some of the things that Khoa ran into, give some advice, talk about it, talk in the chat, share your ideas, and we'll move forward from there. Before we jump into it, let's go through the sponsors. If you're not following them, Great Bay Outfitters on Radier Road in Tuckerton, New Jersey. Great kayak shop, probably the best one that I have been into in my life. I've been in many, not just in our region in the mid-Atlantic around New Jersey area. I've been in a lot of different kayak shops, and they're literally at the top of the list for me. Whether or not Paul's a sponsor, it doesn't even matter. It's a place where I go to. It's a place where you can actually test the kayaks out on the water. And one of the coolest things about Great Bay Outfitters is that Paul loves tricking out kayaks. So as he gets new products in, new models, he's not only testing them and sharing the results online, but he's also tricking them out. He's powering them up, putting motors on them, doing crazy things with them. So if you want any of that done on your new ride or just upgrade your current ride, check out Great Bay Outfitters. Then we have Quad Stay Tuned with Kevin Driscoll. If you have a Toyota truck, so we're talking the 4Runner, the Tundra, what's the other one? The Tacoma, probably the most popular one. If you have any of those, great engines on them, but they can be better. And these engine tunes that Kevin has will get you better performance out of it. You'll get more torque, more horsepower, better throttle response. And if you're towing anything, you're going to get better mileage, better shifting on the roads. And you may as well just do a very inexpensive upgrade to that truck, and you're going to get a lot more out of it. Then the last one is me for real estate. Richard Natoli, that's my name. I work for Weichert Cornerstone Realtors out of Bluebell and Collegeville, Pennsylvania. So I cover southeastern Pennsylvania. If you're looking residential, buy, sell, or invest, it's a tough time to invest, but you can still do it. Give me a call, email, or text 267-270-1145. Let me jump back. Quad Stay Tuned. If you want to reach out to Kevin and talk about your specific truck and whether or not his tunes will work for it, his number is 484-633-5975. All right. So with that, we're going to jump right in. I know that we have World Cup soccer with the USA coming up tonight, and we are going to bleed into that, but we're going to bring on Khoa right now and get started and stop me screwing around. Khoa, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me back, Rich. How's everything been?
It's been good. I'll just share what we were talking about right before you came on. I have not been fishing lately at all, except for freshwater. And I'm an idiot because I went freshwater fishing on Saturday, and it was about 100 degrees, and I went just after noon. It was crazy. It was so stupid. I went down there. I'm like, there's no way. I'm looking at these trout, and I'm like literally hitting them on the head with everything. And they're just sitting there. Like, what are you doing? Like, get the hell out of here. Like they didn't even I literally knocked them off the heads. Nothing. Didn't matter what I was throwing.
I mean, that's trout for you, you know. You're talking about 100-degree day. They just trying to survive. They're trying to find that cold water. Stay in that move.
There was no cold water. It was. I'll tell you, I was in the Skipback Creek. Mm-hmm. It was probably for the entire quarter-mile stretch. It was probably 10 inches deep. Maybe there were some holes down to 18 inches. Mm-hmm. It was hot. I mean, it was hot in that water. So. There was no relief. No wonder. As soon as I walked down there, the guy turns around and is like, they're not biting. I was like, I know, I'll stay out of the way. He's like, no, I'm leaving. They're just not biting. I'm like, well, I got a couple hours. I'm just going to give it a go. Didn't work.
Surprised there weren't any floaters around, man. You know, those trout, they don't like that warm water at all.
There were none. There was literally nothing going. Nothing was moving around except for the frogs. The frogs were jumping around. So that was it.
Yeah, but it's been a while. It's been a while to be on a podcast. It feels different. Just kind of like knock the dust off the boots. You know what I mean? It's kind of feel like being back on a podcast.
Yeah. Well, you'll be back eventually. You guys are on. Yeah. You got your break that you're on.
We're taking our little break. The boys are in baby daddy duty. You know, we're giving them their maternity leave. Yeah. You know, we got Tyler's planning a wedding, so we're giving everyone a little breather. But we'll be back.
And everybody deserves it. I mean, it takes a lot of energy.
Oh, you and me both know it takes a lot of energy. And you know what? Neither one of us are getting rich off of this.
No, and I'll tell you what, they all have like big family commitments, and the last thing you want to do is interfere with that. As somebody whose kids are both done, like out of college, you definitely a fishing podcast is not worth missing time with the kids at all. I still miss. My son is actually home right now. He's studying for his LSATs for going to law school, but he's in the other room. But I tell him to his face all the time, I miss watching you play soccer. And he plays in a men's league, and he will not let me and my wife go. That's our joke. I'm like, where are you playing? He's like, you're not coming. 22-year-old playing. Yeah. So I can understand not doing it, for taking the year off. But I am looking forward to the return episodes. I'll be honest with you. There are very few YouTube channels that I watch and podcasts that I listen to that are not business related, like directly related to my business, and Tide Chasers is one of them. So everybody, you should know, it's not gone. It's just on vacation.
Yeah,
at this time.
Pretty much. We're just on vacation. We'll be back.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the topic. It's that time of year. People are traveling. They're going all over the place. I just had some messages yesterday about somebody thinking about going to the Outer Banks. They were shocked. They were looking online for some, where to catch reds. And my video came up for Pamlico Sound. Yeah. So I was talking about that, but you went up to Cuddyhunk. Mm-hmm. And we got to talk about that. So let's talk about how did you get set up with this?
Well, with the Cuddyhunk trip, this is a trip that George Bucci, he's been on your podcast plenty of times.
He'll be back, I think, next week, actually, talking light tackle weak fish.
Yeah. So he's been on this. He's done this trip every year meticulously. And I don't even know how long he's been doing it, but he's been doing it for quite a good amount of time. And the opportunity came up where he said, you know what, let's put together a Century Advanced Fishing staff trip together. So we round up all the boys, and you know what? I mean, big shout outs to George. He put this whole trip together. Like, he did all the planning for the bookings, the golf carts, literally everything. And he literally gave us lists of things that we need to have to be on this trip.
And did you listen to his list?
Oh, to a T. Even down to a flashlight that he recommended. I bought it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Now, what were some of the things that he had mentioned that you should bring?
A couple of things. If and no one's ever looked up Cuddyhunk, it's a small island, like with the Elizabeth Islands, I believe, off that kind of area, off in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. So near Cuddyhunk, you got Block, you got Cuddyhunk, and you got Martha's Vineyard, and a bunch of other little islands around. So the only way on and off this island is by ferry. And there are literally almost no vehicles on the island, maybe 2 or 3 trucks, and then the rest, golf carts.
Yeah. So I was going to say, Cuddyhunk, you leave your car behind, you take the ferry, and then you get a golf cart.
Yeah, you rent a golf cart, and then there's literally, I think George said there's only like 20 residents that live on the island full time. And then you got this golf cart, and I think the whole island's, I mean, you could ride around in a golf cart in less than maybe an hour.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So we'll get back to so we got the invitation from the whole, I think almost a whole year we were planning, recommending things. As we got closer, George started checking up on us, make sure we had everything we're done, everything we needed. And then we start discussing food, because there are no restaurants on the island. There's a very small convenience store, and there's no tackle shop. So you literally have to pack everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you did that, so we went through it, and you got to remember everything you pack in is going to cost you because you have to pay for it on the ferry. So say if you bring 4 totes, you got to pay for each tote. So each tote's like $5.
Yep.
So it adds up. So you got to make sure you pack everything. And there's a lesson learned in here. I thought I packed everything, and we'll get to that in a little bit later. But but we packed as best you can. Pack as many lures as you can. I brought the whole kitchen sink because George gave us a recommendation of a bunch of good stuff. And you know what? The funny thing is, it all worked.
Yeah.
Everything he said to pack worked. 2 rods, always pack 2 rods. He said, you have your main rod and you have a backup one just in case.
Yep.
Yeah. And
now, what was the primary target?
Primary target on block was, not blocks, Cuddyhunk was stripers. That's all. That's all. From the history of Cuddyhunk, you got presidents that used to live there at the fishing club, celebrities, they come up there and they sleep and they fish.
Yeah.
Cuddyhunk has so much history, it's insane. We spent the whole day. I spent the whole day just driving the golf cart around and just looking at all the history. They used to have fishing stands out there mounted to rocks where you would climb out and sit. Like the presidents and stuff would sit on these fishing stands, and then they would have a kid or like, what do you call those guys at golf that carry your a
caddy?
A caddy, exactly. They used to have a guy called like a caddy. He sits in the front of this fishing stand and he chunks lobster out. He cuts it, he chunks it into the water to draw the bass in, and then the guy fishing is over top of him throwing chunks down.
Okay. So did you guys even consider on one of your card playing evenings, the loser had to chunk the lobster?
Only if those stands were still there. There are remnants of the stands, like there's holes still in the rocks and then some lumber, but like the you can see where 70, 80 years ago there was someone standing on that rock on a fishing stand. One guy chunking lobster, the other one's just catching bass.
That's awesome. Just to think about that, that there's no way they're ever going to allow that landscape and that view to be obstructed by fishing stands anymore.
No,
but so the old timers can't say that we've gone soft. We're actually, you guys were actually wetsuits out in the water climbing onto rocks, whereas they've got their little caddy going along.
Yeah. So we'll get back into the gear. So another recommendation that George says we must have is wetsuits. You gotta have a wetsuit. One of us bought a pair of waders. Yeah, waders are cool, but like during the day. But when you're at night fishing on top of a rock, waders is the worst thing you want to have. You get knocked off, and we're not in like talking about like 6, maybe 10 feet of water, sometimes. But like even if you're in like 4 feet of water and you get knocked off a rock, if you get knocked off and you fall flat, your wader's going to get filled up with water, and you're automatically become a parachute underwater.
Yeah,
dragged out.
Yeah, that's no good. I've had waders fill. They don't sink you, but any current that gets in there does pull you.
Yeah, you turn into a parachute. You just get dragged out.
And it's if they're neoprene, they're damn near impossible to get off under the water.
Mm-hmm.
They do float a little bit, so they're kind of neutral. Well, they're already neutral buoyancy, but they do float a little bit, but it doesn't help a lot.
No, so the wetsuit keeps you dry, keeps you warm, keeps you afloat, and the movability of a wetsuit is so much easier because you're carrying a rod, you got your surf belt, and then you got your surf bag on you. It's just you try to minimize everything, and then most important thing is corkers.
Yeah,
100% need corkers.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So there's no stores on the island. So
no, zero stores.
Want to talk about your situation?
Yeah. Let's talk. So I got a pair of corkers. They're probably like maybe 5 years old, and I've used them here in Jersey for barnegat and things like that. Like I've never put them through like abuse. These 3-4 days we were there, I beat the crap out of them. Yeah, they were used for what we were walking through rocks. The whole island's made of rocks, like softball-sized pebbles, like round pebbles that will break your ankle.
Yeah.
So we were walking through those, and then like first night we chilled. Second night I fished with the guys. Third night we fished found fish, did really good. And that was the night what happened is my corker separated the boot. The whole thing just fell apart, disintegrated, just from climbing up and down rocks like every day, and then.
So you had the boots with the attachment on the bottom?
Yeah, I had the boots with the attachments on the bottom. And there were a lot of times on corkers when they break, what happens is the attachment stops clicking in, right? Yeah. So they keep flopping off.
Yep.
And George knows this. He brought a giant roll of duct tape. Mm-hmm. Every trip he has a giant roll of duct tape. That's how experienced he is. He has a roll of giant duct tape. He's been through it. Yeah. Yeah. So the duct tape couldn't help me because mine didn't separate there. Mine separated back by the heel. So the boot literally fell apart itself.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's not good. So
there's no store.
No, there's no store. So I was pretty much out for the next 2 nights. I fished where I could and just being very careful. But literally the other 2 nights, these guys, let's just say they had a fantastic, crazy night.
And you got to hear all about it the whole
every night. Every night they would come through at 1 a.m. The way George times these moons, that he has certain hours that everyone's fishes. He runs around, he whistles, wakes everybody up like he's our mother. Yeah. Get up, time to go. and then he's like, get in, car, let's go. And then those guys crush fish. They had 200 fish nights.
All right. Well, hold on. So George is here. Here's his comment. It started falling apart too. Korkers have a great warranty. Fill out the warranty form and send it in.
I did that, George. And what they said mines were so old and outdated that they're either only going to give me what the cost is at the time, $80, or I could take 30% off the new set. So I think I'm going to get the same pair that Dwayne has, which is the ultralight new Korkers that they have coming out. So
yeah, you may as well. I know mine. I've had mine for a long time. And I had the boots too. Mm-hmm. The problem with the boots though is that they don't flex at all. But I got them because, in New Jersey, I was always wearing the stocking foot waders. Mm-hmm. So you had to put them in something. And Korker, but I needed Korkers too.
Yeah.
But man, they get heavy and they don't flex very well. But I thought originally when you had mentioned it to me that you had just the strap-on ones.
Oh, no, I brought a pair of strap-on ones as a backup, but I realized, what am I going to strap them to?
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't bring an extra pair of Timberlands or anything to wear so I could strap them. I brought them, and for some reason, I had a pair of dive boots, those real neoprene dive boots. And I thought they could strap to them, but they didn't. They
not enough structure.
Not enough structure. Yeah. I would have rolled my ankle, and I've already rode my ankle during Thanksgiving, so I'm not rolling my ankle again.
100%. I have a pair of those types of boots, and I actually have what are they? I think they're NRS, but there is zero structure and zero support on those things. Yeah. There's no way that those would hold Korkers. I mean, you would literally snap your ankle.
Yep, exactly.
You'd snap your ankle. All right. So 2 rods, a whole bunch of gear. What kind of gear at this time of year did he have you bringing as kind of the primary? What were you is it plugs? Is it subsurface?
Mostly plugs, mostly with their own plugs. A lot of mostly subsurface stuff. So darters, needlefish, things like that. He has his certain colors that he loves. I'm not going to disclose his favorite colors because those things crushed.
Okay.
Yeah, him and Mark had the colors dialed in, and they work really well. So the colors they recommended totally crushed. 60-pound fluoro because they're all the rocks and things like that there.
Yep.
Yeah, and definitely you got to be fishing a Van Staal or a ZBASS, one or the other, because we are dunking. We are swimming. We are using our fishing rods as walking sticks.
Yeah. I was going to say that is a prohibitive thing for a lot of people, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, there are some older reels that you can get away with it, but they're very heavy. And the last thing you want is when you're wading is to have a heavy reel, like a pen, old pens. They actually will work pretty well. You do have to strip it down, but it's very easy to strip those down as compared to, a modern reel.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you're talking the waterproof reels, you're mostly subsurface.
Mm-hmm. And then you pack a few pencils because George said that once in a while you're going to wander around and you're going to see some birds and you may run into a daytime blitz, a daytime bite. And I happened to run into one of those by myself, just kind of bored during the daytime. Everyone's sleeping. Yeah. And I jump in the golf cart and I put the rod in. I just go cruising around looking, and saw one or two birds just kind of just flying around, and I'm just like, I wonder. So I jumped on a rock, took a few casts. Literally, I think it was like 9:30 a.m. in the morning or something.
Yeah.
Made one cast, boom, hooked up right away. I was like, holy crap. And then that's when I text the guys. I was like, get down here right now. There's right in front of the house.
And did they?
Yeah, they rolled down. They rolled down. But, I mean, it wasn't fast and furious. It was literally, I think I banged 4 or 5 fishes back to back to back on top water.
Yeah.
And then they came down. Just as they came down, the bite kind of died off. Right. But here's the funny part, right? So they came down. They started walking up and down the beach, casting. No fish for like 2 hours. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to put the drone up. And this is where you see my drone footage. Mm-hmm. So I popped the drone up, and this is where we're all done already. We're kind of just chit-chatting, shooting the shit. I put the drone up, fly the whole area that we were fishing. Hundreds of fish. Literally. Just swimming, cruising in between rocks. They just minding their own business. If you see my Instagram or seen George's Instagram, you see George casts past one, brings right by its head a pencil, and it just denies him. It ignores him. It just goes right over his head. He didn't even care about it.
That's like me trout fishing.
Yeah. So
what size class were the fish?
They're mostly schoolies, 28 to 32 ish. The ones that the guys caught at night and we caught, they're a little bigger, up like 33, 35.
Nice.
George caught a pretty decent one. Mark caught a decent one. Dwayne caught a decent one. I had one on that I hooked up, and it felt like a really good one. It had giant head shakes. It had like the whole makes of a big fish. Big head shakes, hard runs. I was fishing the Elite and the ZBASS 25, and I had the drag pretty much almost locked, and she was screaming to drag off of it, and she would not stop. And the thing about the fish up here, they're smart. They're not dumb, especially the big ones too, and I've experienced this. She went right for the biggest rock.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, right for the biggest rock. And and then I knew she was going for that rock because I saw that rock during the daytime when we were scouting. So we knew that rock was there. So I locked drag even more, and then she pulled the hook. And then I posted photos of my hook. That's a 6X mustad, and she bent it out.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It brings up a point for people that are thinking about going to a different area. So you're using 60-pound fluoro, right? I guarantee you most people that are surf fishing the mid-Atlantic aren't using 60-pound fluoro for any other reason besides they've always used it, right? Because you don't need it. In sandy beaches, you don't need it. There's nothing to break off on, right?
Yeah, right.
You can pull in a 50-pound fish on a 20-pound leader.
You could. Just takes a little longer and finesse, but
yeah. But George knew the area, and he was able to tell you, look, we're going to be in rocks. We're going to be around heavy structure. You got to have them. And I think that's, we could bring that in as one tip for people. You really should spend a little bit of time and take a look at where you're fishing, not just the species, because it makes all the difference. You're catching schoolies. You're going to need a schoolie, let's just say 35-inch down, right? Not that 35 is a schoolie. I don't think it is. I think they're actually smaller, but let's say 35 inches down, because that's basically where most of your fish came in, right? But you sometimes need a 60-pound leader because you're rubbing off of rocks, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. If they pick up and turn left, and that's where the boulder is, well, they're going to wrap it a little bit.
Yep.
So you better have something. And I know that a lot of people miss out on that part of their scouting.
And that's where the whole game plan, I've always said that. I mean, the thing is, the most important is if you're ever going to go to a new place like this, either you talk to someone that's been there or you have someone. And luckily for us, George and Mark, they've been there plenty of times. So they had a lot of experience there, and they knew exactly what they're getting us into.
I'm going to say right now, I bet you if George went on his own the first time, I bet you he didn't go with the 60-pound fluoro. He probably didn't, and he's been going for a long time. So it was probably, he first started going before it was easy to find all this stuff online too. But yeah, I mean, most people don't think about that stuff. You think, I do this. Yeah. He started with 40. Yeah. 40. So like, if I'm going down, I did this my first year. I went to Outer Banks. I just went with the same fluke gear that I had up here, thinking it'll work, or not fluke, weak fish gear. And I figured it'll work for the specs, but I didn't take into account any of the environmental factors, right? So here I go. I head out in a kayak. I'm like, well, I can't use my kayak here. I just came hundreds of miles just down OBX to Southern Outer Banks down to Avon, and I can't even use my kayak because I didn't research it. I just figured, hey, I'll go fishing, but I didn't realize that the grass in the grass flats was only 2 feet deep, and the grass came up to within 6 inches of the top, which meant no drive.
Mm-hmm.
So there I am out with a drive that I couldn't use.
Ugh.
Yeah, which was
it sucks.
Well, yeah, because it's the extra weight.
Yeah,
I ended up just leaving it up, but what I should have done is just left it in the truck, because I could just stand and use the paddle to pull myself, like you pull around the flats.
Mm-hmm.
But had I known that, I would have brought a pole instead of a paddle.
Instead of a paddle, yeah.
Yeah, which was bending every time I tried to push off of something. But yeah, so I think that's one thing. Make sure that you do some research on the specifics and what you might need to change, because while they may be the same fish, maybe even the exact same fish, right? Like you could have been catching fish that are down in Jersey at another time of the year. Same fish. They travel that far. But the conditions are going to be much different, and the environment, you may have to adjust your tackle approach in order to get them.
Oh, 100%.
All right. So you're going subsurface, you've got the correct reels, the correct line, the correct gear. What's the next thing that we should know? And put it in the story of Cuddyhunk. Like, tell us a little bit more about, stuff that happened.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, we got there, but when we got there, George worked with this guy, Dale, that has golf carts. As soon as the ferry pulled up, all 3 of our golf carts were already parked there waiting for us. It's like clockwork. Everything's like no running around trying to figure out where's our golf cart, things like that. Everything was already placed, loaded up everything into the golf carts, and we drove to the house. And we went to the house. We stayed at Pete's place. It's an amazing, literally, it's a bunch of little, I guess, bi-level houses. And so 4 of us stayed in one, and then George and Mark stayed in a separate one. So, but we were right next door to each other. So it's cool. Like, we would run back and forth.
Yeah.
All the food and food wise, we're men. We don't really cook too much. So we kind of almost live like cavemen. So Mark even says it. The kraut, one of our buddy Bobby brought 6 pounds of kielbasa and a bunch of kraut.
God, that must have been pleasant.
Yeah. And then Mark's mother-in-law made these amazing empanadas, 3 sandwich bag fulls, giant gallon bag. Those things we were pigging out on those. We had sandwiches, ham and cheese. I brought steaks and potatoes and eggs. I'm the one that likes to cook. So
yeah.
I made steak, egg, and potatoes for the boys and for breakfast and things like that. And we just, it's kind of one of those things, as a teenager, your boys knock on your door and then they'd be like, hey, let's go ride bikes. So you'd spend the whole day riding bikes and just hanging out with each other. And to me, this is what it felt like. It felt like a bunch of friends just hanging out on a trip and just enjoying life as boys. We left everything home. And out here was just us hanging out. We played, we hung out, we watched soccer, we watched the games together, and we just hung out pretty much. And then most of the days, that's what it is. We just chilled, hung out, ate, explored the island. And this is where George kind of shows his experience, because we'll randomly sit there, and then he'll see a bird fly by, and then he'll look at me like, come on, let's go. No rods, nothing, just our shorts and a t-shirt.
Yep.
We'll jump in a golf cart and we'll drive the whole island and scope out every single spot.
Yeah.
He's like, it's low tide. We can go look, see what rocks are out there, see what the tide looks like, see how dirty the water is, because he knows how many cycles it takes to clean. We're watching, we're checking out all the regular places, and then we're just making sure. He's like, all right, tonight looks good here. We might stop by here, maybe here. So he's like I would say the wedding planner. He's already planned the whole night's trip before any of us even said anything.
Yeah, he's Julie Cruise director. All you just get on, he's going to tell you where to go and when to go, and he's going to get you there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you guys had success. That's awesome. I'll tell you what, I haven't been on a trip like that ever, where it's just a bunch of guys that just go to, the only time I ever did it is like maybe overnight, head down to, when we had a place in Stone Harbor, just me and like a friend.
Yeah.
Fish all night, and then you sleep for 3 hours, and then you gas up the boat again and go back out. But that was it.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it was a bunch of teenagers running around almost getting in trouble but not getting caught.
Yeah, that's exactly us. There was literally 6 of us with 3 golf carts, and we're like zooming around the whole island, just doing random stuff. We'll run down, get like blueberry ice cream, and just run back with ice cream in our hands, and like we're like kids, literally just running around in golf carts, just running amok.
Well, now I'm jealous. Now everybody's jealous. Yeah,
it was an amazing time. Like honestly, if we didn't even catch fish, I would have enjoyed every minute of it, because it was.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, and were there any? Yeah, because the experience itself and fishing a new place has this kind of like, to me, it has kind of this crazy allure to it. Like, I don't know if I'm going to catch fish, but it's kind of like a test.
Yeah.
Now you had George there who knows all the spots, right? He's been there. Mark has been there, and he knows all the spots. But were you able to kind of pick up on anything that translates back to our area? I know it's not the same, topography and everything like that, but was there anything that was different up there that you think you might try out down here?
I mean, they're pretty close. The fish wise, it's like, just like during the fall, daytime, you might find a topwater bite, a pencil bite, or something like that. Nighttime's the right time, it's kind of like the spring here. Yeah. Might find a bite during the day, but most of the bites at night. And it's pretty much the same routine, minus the physicality of this area. It's not. It's one thing I'm going to say is I was not physically trained for this.
Yeah.
Like I started walking more. I started hitting the gym a little bit, trying to get. But like this place will test you physically.
Yeah. Well, even just going out in the water in the dark, and then having to climb up a rock in the dark.
Well, there's this one spot, and I'm not going to blow it up not blow it up, but like I'm not going to.
You don't have to get specific.
But. Yeah, no, but like give the surprise of what it actually is. But like, it's a spot where the only way you're getting down to the fish, you're going to have to grab a rope and rappel like you're off in a helicopter, like down the wall. Yeah. Yep, you got to rappel. You got to rappel down, like literally scale down a wall, a bluff, with a rope that's been tied there for how many years we don't even know. And then you have to rappel down. One guy's got to go first. Then we hand the rods down one by one, and then we rappel down. And then you fish, tired as anything, and then you got to climb back up the bluff with that rope.
Yeah. So see, that's something where you don't want to be the heaviest guy. And if you're any of the other guys, you want the heaviest guy to go first.
That's me. I was the heavy guy.
Did they make you go first?
No, I asked them to go first so I could see how they do it. So
there you go. Yeah, so I could see.
I watched, and then sliding down that spot in a wetsuit made me look like a fat seal rolling down.
Yeah, well, that's what I look like when I put one on. I don't even have one that fits anymore. I got rid of it. Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, James is in the chat saying he's screwed. He's not going down that either. That would be the night where I just kind of wave and go on to the next one, because you got to get back up.
Yeah, you got to get back up. The very first time I got down there, I had fear in my eyes just looking down that bluff. I'm just like, if I let go, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, yeah. That's.
But after George pushing me a couple of times, just you could do this, just do it, and then it became normal. Once you get the rhythm of it, it became very normal, and I can get up and down pretty easily. So.
All right, so no hesitation when you go next year.
No.
Are you going again next year? You think?
Yeah, if I get the invite, I'm definitely 100% going. I wouldn't miss this for the world.
I love the fact that, like right now, striped bass in, let's say, New Jersey and Delaware, it's a resident bite, right? But the numbers just aren't anywhere near what you're going to have up there. It's a resident bite up there, right? They're not migration fish, right?
A lot of them are migration fish.
They're still migrating?
A lot of the ones we caught had sea lice.
I thought they settled in by now up there.
But they do have their residential fish that are there. And it's just like, it's tough because the week before us, there's a group of guys that went up there that George knew, and they didn't do well at all. they caught a few fish, and that was like, okay. And then, I mean, like I said, George already booked next year by looking at the moons. Somehow he looks next year. He's like, all right, I need these dates. That's it, done. And he already locked it in. He already locked the place up already.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's a level beyond me. I honestly, I just go whenever I can go, and then I try to figure it out after.
Dude, it's crazy because like I think I don't always say I'm the best or know anything, but like I know a good amount. But just the few hours or days just sitting there, and then everyone sometimes they see George as this kind of rough guy that doesn't help people. Oh, when you get on his sweet side, he will help you to the end. And he's an encyclopedia. Like I turned into a kid listening to like Yoda. Like I turned into a giant sponge. My ears were so big, and I was just, everything that came out was scientific. Why is the current going this way? There's two different sweeps going this way. You're going to want to cast this way and let your plug swing this way so you can retrieve it so it looks right. Because if you swing this way, you throw that cast that way, it swings the opposite way. Your plug's not going to swim right. And then it's just like, I'm like, what's going on here? I was like,
it's a good point. Like a lot of people like to act like they're the best, and they know everything, and they won't listen. And, I've been fortunate to be out on the water with guys, and I'd like to just shut up and listen because, even like there are certain things that I think I'm really good at, but it doesn't mean I know everything. And, out tog fishing with Mahalik and just kind of like listening to him, not saying anything, just kind of listening and watching what he's doing. George put on a clinic for Chesapeake Bay fishing. It was ridiculous. You just kick back and watch. But I think like there are just way too many people that don't do that. They just have to be the best, and they can't listen to anything. And what's funny is it's usually the older people or people with YouTube channels like me. I already know everything. No, you don't. You don't. No, you should be on the water with some of these guys and really see. Yeah, and I think that's a big part of it. You have to be, if you're going to a new place, you have to be open to listening. But you also, I would say this too, you also have to be able to filter out stuff, right? Like I remember going to OBX and stop by a shop and just to patronize. I don't need anything. I literally have, I can't even tell you how many pounds, like dozens of pounds of leads that I have, like weights, and not weights, jigs. Right? Tog jigs.
Tog jigs, yeah.
I probably have 35 pounds of them, 40 pounds of them. I don't need stuff, but I show up at local shops and I just buy something stupid just to do it. And I'm down at OBX and I show up and they're like, well, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm going to take the kayak out in the sound. I'm going to get, and they're like, well, where are you going? I'm like, going in at Haulover. And they're like, okay, you're not going to catch anything. I was like, well, what's the best tactic that you would suggest for, fishing mid-morning into early afternoon? They're like, I suggest you go back to the beach and just hang out with your family. I was like, all right. They're like, you're not going to catch anything. So I go and limit. Yeah. I just go and limit on the specs because so you have to be able to filter too. Right. And these guys, I know that they're good fishermen. I've seen one of them online. He is a good fisherman, but yeah, he was giving bad advice. So, but I still listened. And I did pick up a tactic that he said would work later in the day, and it worked perfectly at noon in 96, 95 degree water. It still worked. Yeah. So, yeah. What other tips do you have? Or what other things happen that we can kind of learn a lesson from? We know bring new Korkers.
Bring new Korkers.
Duct tape.
When you have free time during the day, scout. Always know your landscape. Like,
you had talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that, and it's literally every few hours, every different tide, George would take the golf cart and run around by himself. He would just, every few hours, like nonstop, he would just cruise and just look. It's and you learn your landscape. You learn, remember, every rock that you see during the day, you got to visually be able to see it at night.
Yeah.
Because you're making your way out there. So when you hook into a fish, you know exactly that rock is still there. Or if there's a rock that you've been looking at low tide during the day that you know you can swim to later and get on top of it.
Right. Or it's going to break the current and they're going to have,
fish behind it.
Feeding spot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. And George knew the area and he was out there checking it out.
Yep. Yep.
I think it goes back even to the first point. Like you got to be prepared. And if you're just there to go fishing and screw around with friends,
yeah,
well, you're not going to fish 24 hours a day. And if you are, you've gone into it determined to grind. But you guys didn't do that. You went in determined to catch fish.
Right.
And come up with plans and understand the area. So when it was at night, you were able to find the place.
You were able to push yourself to your limits at night and fish hard and then just nap all day.
Yeah. Did you ever see those guys in New Jersey that mark the beaches at low tide? And they walk down and they put
sticks or something?
Yeah, yeah. Did you ever see the dudes that walk behind them, the old timers?
No, I haven't seen them behind.
Oh my God. This used to happen there was this one dude in Avalon when I was growing up. So I'd just go and I'd ride a bike down to the different beaches that I knew had good structure. And there'd be guys down there at low tide. And that's why I'm there looking. And they're marking it off with sticks. And then this one old guy would just walk down and take the sticks and move them a block. So they were they were totally off. But it goes back to the reason I bring it up is it goes to your point. Like you need to be able to visualize it. So don't just throw sticks down, visualize it. Stand there and look at it. Look what's behind you. Look what's in front of you. Find that spot. And then, you can't just put sticks on the ground and hope that you're going to find it.
Yeah.
Because it's all going to look different.
Yeah. Yeah. So aside from the fishing, I honestly think it's a really good family vacation spot too, because during the day, there's beaches to swim at. There's the Cuddyhunk Fishing Club where you can go in there and just see the history of old presidents that's fished there, giant fish that's hanging on the wall, things like. There's an old tree by the cemetery that plug builders have been hanging plugs on there for years, and you see some really old plugs hanging up on there.
Nobody's stealing them?
No. This place is just so safe. It's been they don't even have an officer on the island. They have a safety patrol guy that just drives around in a little golf cart.
In shorts.
In shorts, yeah.
Do you have a whistle?
Yeah, he had a whistle. We left there. He had one of those orange fluorescent or green fluorescent vests on too.
Dude,
yeah.
So that's hilarious, but that's my kind of place.
Yeah,
right?
It's literally, there's a bunch of people, but you know what? It's super safe. We left all our rods out on the decks, all our gears on the decks. We're talking $2,000-$3,000 combos just sitting on the deck.
Yeah,
and we feel safe. Doors are unlocked. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: what is it like accessing the water from there? Is it a lot of private property that you have to work around? Is
no, a
public beach?
Most of it, majority of it is all public beaches.
Okay.
Yeah. So but you definitely do need a golf cart because you're not going to walk to these beaches. Golf carts are definitely 100% necessity.
Okay.
To make it around the island. The further you get out, the west side, that's where the rougher terrain, things like that. So
now where did you find the best fishing? What side of the island? What were some of the factors that really made the difference?
The factor that made the difference that I feel is the rougher terrain that it takes to get to it, the better the fishing was.
Yeah. Was it more structure off in the water too?
Yeah, 100%. A lot of boulders.
Okay.
A lot of boulder fields. You hear people talk about it, the pyramids, things like that. That it's reading. It's one thing. Before I even went, I ordered the book off Amazon by DJ Muller. It's a book that he wrote that he fishes Block Island and Cuddyhunk. I read the Cuddyhunk section and read about all the different areas that pretty much memorized the map that was written out. So you get places like churches, you got High Flyer, you got pyramids, you get the Bluff, the West End, the Oyster Lake, things like that. You won't know until you're actually there to see it all. Like George said, half the island is private property owned by the Spalding family.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the other half is pretty much all public.
But but that's pretty good. When you can access half, that's a pretty good amount of space that you can get onto on an island. You think about New Jersey and Delaware, and Maryland's the worst. You can't get anywhere. Try fishing the Chesapeake. It's damn near impossible unless you can find a park. Right. But So that's awesome. So half of the island is pretty well.
Fishermen.
Yeah, but I mean, you could probably get to the private stuff. You just can't walk through the private stuff, right?
Yeah, you can't. You can walk it.
Yeah.
But you can't. Like, I mean, George says we access all of it, and we're gonna say yeah, you know what I mean. But like if you legally, if you on the beach, the rock side of the ocean side, and you walk all the way up,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Can't just drive on there,
right?
No, the roads, but yeah, but
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair enough. I mean, you're there to walk the beaches anyway and look for the sign and all that. So, you know, unless you're just a lazy fisherman like I am in the surf half the time, I just want to pull right
and just fish outside out front of the fishing club.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the dudes that go surf fishing and they only stick right by the tailgate. They don't move. They turn on the grill on the tailgate and they just sit there for 8 hours. Yeah, sometimes I'm like that, but this is not the place to do that, though. Sounds like a great trip, though. It sounds like it was awesome. It sounds like you went with the right guys.
100%.
Man, I'm jealous. I think a lot of people are jealous.
I honestly think, you know, like, I mean, with you, your work stressful, everyone else's work stressful. I think once a year, it's good to put together a guys trip that where you guys can just throw all responsibilities in the back burner just for a couple of days, and just become teenagers and guys again.
Yeah, so here's a comment. Bow tie killer going to Kip the Peak at the end of September. 5 days of kayak fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to now.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna show up. Yeah, it's things like that. Like I gotta. It's not just me, but like I have to advocate for everyone. You really should do it. I haven't done it. It typically when I would do a trip, I do it solo in the past.
Yeah,
but that's an entirely different experience.
Yeah,
you know, if I were solo, maybe it's just my personality. I wouldn't be rappelling down anything in the dark.
No, definitely 100%. If you're fishing this place, always have an extra person with you. It's
I'm not dangerous. I'm not putting a wetsuit on. I'm not going across those rocks. I'm just not doing it. You know, if I'm solo, if I'm with somebody else, if I'm with a bunch of guys, absolutely. Now I'm mobile and I'm all over the place. You know, maybe I'm just too scared of everything.
I mean, what do you expect? You're in a wetsuit, you're climbing rocks, and it's known to have sharks. I mean, we're in an area where there's great whites and big giant browns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That you flopping around in the water, you could become shark bait any day.
Yeah. That's the least of my concerns, but yes, I could definitely see that being. So I had an argument with somebody about sharks this past weekend. I'm like, what are you worried about? And like, I was like, do you realize how many thousands of sharks? They're like, that's the worst thing to say. Like, okay. They don't realize how many are around them when they're swimming at the beach, how many browns. But yeah. Well, hey, I want to thank you for coming on. I'm looking forward to getting more of these stories. You know, Eric Cohen has come on. He's talked about his trips to the Amazon. Got to get more of these because I think people like to hear what else is out there. I'm sure that there are going to be people listening to this podcast that have never been to Cuddyhunk. I'm sure there's going to be a lot that have never heard of it.
Yeah.
And now might be interested in it. And it is one of those places, if you do some research, it is an actual destination to go to. Yeah. You know, it is a destination fishing location to go to. But, you know, to your point, if you had gone without any prep and just picked up one weekend and decided to go, it would have had an entirely different feel to it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you're going to do it right.
Do it right. I mean, honestly, if you're a striper fisherman, this has to be on your bucket list. You know, this sits in there with Montauk, sits in there with the canal, sits in there with Block Island.
So Montauk actually is on my bucket list, and it's not for striped bass.
No,
it's actually it's for shark.
Okay. Yeah.
So back in the day, in the 80s, when I was doing a lot of shark fishing, it was always Montauk. That's what all of the, sport fishing magazine, all the shows that had anything about shark, it was Montauk and the great whites off of Montauk. So yeah, Montauk's on there. I do want to also do the striped bass, but number one for me. I want to go shark fishing off of Montauk in a boat, not off of the rocks, but that area, because of the way that I don't even know if it's still like that, but it used to be a great destination for offshore for shark. Yeah. So, well, thank you again for coming on, everybody. Tide Chasers podcast will be back. Just they're resting. They're spending time with family.
We're hibernating.
Hibernating for now, getting a little fishing done, getting a little work done. Then they'll be back playing again. I don't know exactly when. I don't think you guys have announced the date or the time yet, but
no, not yet. The boys are still enjoying their daddy time. So until they're ready, we'll come back.
That's good. Well, I'll just say we all miss it, but there are plenty of episodes to keep listening to online. So everybody do that. And I think I have to confirm, I think George is going to be on next week, and we're going to talk about some light tackle weak fish. And I'll tell you what, Khoa, that is my favorite inshore species is weak fish.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how hard it is to find somebody who knows what they're doing that wants to talk about it?
No, there's only two people I know that really knows weak fish. One is George.
Yeah.
And the other is Frank. And not Mahalik, the other Frank.
Okay. So
I can't pronounce his last name. But
okay, I think I know who you're saying.
Yeah.
There's one captain who's really, really busy, but they don't like talking about it. And I didn't talk about it for a long time because they were so depressed in the population, but I got to talk some weak fish because I love them and I fish for them, almost all the time. I just usually don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So if I'm fluke fishing, I am usually, especially on a solo trip, I'm going to spend half my day going for weak fish. So very excited to talk about that. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. We will be back next week. I am going to say right now, just as an expectation for everybody, there may be a week coming up that I can't do. We have granddaughter number 2 on the way, and we're getting close. So if that is happening, this ain't happening. We're going to put it off.
Yeah. Family first,
Yeah, but we're going to run the full schedule up until, because, hell, it could happen on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't interfere. So I don't want to start canceling stuff, but just want to give everybody the fair heads up. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. The weather has cooled off, tons of rain, but once that water clears up again, the fluke are going they were going crazy. Really picked up, seeing some great fish inshore, offshore, all throughout the mid-Atlantic. Striped bass are still hitting. It's a night bite.
Sheep's head are feeding. They're on the feed.
The sheep's head are on the feed, yes.
Even though I haven't been out all year yet, not a single one, but I have guys.
I had some texts yesterday you may have gotten from the same 2 people that I was getting yesterday, some nice ones in southern New Jersey. So so we'll be back. We'll see you guys soon. So get out there, get on the water, and get some tight lines.